Tonight, NDC accused President Akufo-Addo and some top government officials of complicity in the men's gold saga, alleging secret payments to some officials of government and a plot to facilitate the escape of Ghana's most wanted.
According to our impeachable sources at Men's Gold, #1 sponsored the MPP and President Akufo-Addo's 2016 election campaign with a gargantuan sum of money. We are convinced, beyond a shadow of doubt, that #1 was aided by government and our security agencies to flee this country.
The NDC want the government to retrieve all monies owed customers and pay out compensation. We'll be live at the NPP headquarters, where an emergency press conference is set to get underway in reaction to the NDC accusations.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans. Your success, our passion. GASM, the nation builder. Vodafone, the future is exciting, ready. And nationwide medical health insurance, your healthcare family. It was always just a matter of time before the men's gold saga became a political football for the two main political parties. Well, tonight, the time is here. The two parties are holding separate press conferences within hours of each other, accusing each other of being complicit in the men's gold saga. The NDC were the first to hold their press conference a couple of hours back and leveled a series of serious allegations at the president, at the finance minister, at the first lady, and a host of other government appointees, including what they claim to be evidence to show government complicity in the escape of #1 Nanapia Mensah, owner of Men's Gold, from the shores of the country. We'll be detailing the press conference shortly. There is a press conference that has also been called and is set to begin in the next few minutes by the NPP. And I must tell you this, the NDC paid for live coverage of this, which we did cover it on TV. The NDC did pay. The NPP has also paid for live coverage of their press conference, which is set to begin in the next few minutes. We'll bring that to you shortly as well. But let's begin with the accusations that the NDC had leveled today and the details you're pouring as far as their own investigations are concerned into the men's gold saga. They start by accusing government of complicity.
Government's posturing in the aftermath of the closure of Men's Gold is even more bizarre and confirms its complicity in this whole scam. It reveals government's obscene determination to aid the perpetrators of this scam to get off the hook. Is it not intriguing that 4 months after the shutdown of Men's Gold, no director, no shareholder, no member of management has been arrested and put under strict surveillance by the state? Until yesterday, no effort had been made by government to freeze the accounts of #1 and Men's Gold. Till date, ladies and gentlemen, none of his assets and that of Men's Gold, including that of his accomplices, have been confiscated by government. Within the last 3 months, and despite several warnings by staff of Men's Gold, government has sat aloof and allowed directors, shareholders, and management members to sell assets of the company, with some absconding from the country with their loot. And that is a fact, because on the night of 27th December 2018, the wife of #1 went to her shop at East Legon with a cargo. People saw her offloading, actually packing all her jewelry in her shop into this cargo. They did that all through the night. Some of the people in that locality have called us and have told us that they actually called the police and our security agencies and reported the matter to them. But none of them responded. They sat aloof and allowed the woman to pack her jewelry and precious stuff from the shops. Today, when you go there, the shop is empty. Other companies of #1, like Xylophone Media, are still operating in this country whilst government looks on unconcerned.
And that press conference was addressed by Sami Jemfi, who is the NDC Communication Director. Also, at this press conference that was held by the NDC, they alleged that the only reason, they have evidence to show that Nana Mensah, who is the owner of Men's Gold, sponsored Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's campaign in 2016, the campaign that brought him to power. And they claim that is a reason why state agencies have been negligent and, in essence, allowing Men's Gold to operate all these years, but also assisting the owner to flee the shores of the country.
The NDC is aware of the real reason behind government's inertia in this whole Men's Gold matter. According to our impeachable sources at Men's Gold, NAM1 sponsored the MPP and President Akufo-Addo's 2016 election campaign with a gargantuan sum of money, hence his strong ties with government. NAM1's amorous affair with the Akufo-Addo government is the only explanation as to how state security aided him to abscond from our jurisdiction and continues to treat him and his accomplices with kid gloves. We are convinced, beyond a shadow of doubt, that NAM1 was aided by government and our security agencies to flee this country. We are convinced.
They also showed pictorial evidence to back their claim that NAM1, the owner of Men's Gold, was supported not only by the president but also the finance minister and others. They claim this support gave legitimacy to Nana Mensah and the Men's Gold business.
Those state institutions, like the Bank of Ghana, the Minerals Commission, SEC, continued their investigations into the illegal deposit-taking activities of Men's Gold. The executive arm of government, led by President Akufo-Addo himself, endorsed, advertised, and promoted the activities of the now defunct Men's Gold and its beleaguered CEO NAM1, thereby shoring up their legitimacy. This view, like I said earlier on, is supported by indisputable and incontrovertible evidence. Now, on evidence of state-led endorsement and promotion of Men's Gold and NAM1. Ladies and gentlemen, although government knew at all times that Men's Gold and its CEO NAM1 were engaged in illegal business because the Bank of Ghana previously had issued notices to that effect, and in spite of the fact that they knew that Men's Gold and NAM1 were subjects of investigations by the Central Bank of Ghana, on August the 26th, 2017, private agency called Entrepreneurs Foundation of Ghana, at this Ghana's Business Quality Awards, organized under the auspices of the Ministry of Finance, bestowed on Men's Gold a Quality Business Award. And ladies and gentlemen, you can see that award on the screen. Like I told you, this is a moment of truth. And so we will give you evidence of every single claim we make here, because it is nothing but a fact. And so, in other words, ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Finance, which is headed by the cousin of the president, Ken Ofori-Atta, in collaboration with the EFG, that's the Entrepreneurs Foundation Ghana, awarded Men's Gold as one of the best companies in the gold assaying and monumental coins industry. Therefore, it is ultimate hypocrisy for this same Ken Ofori-Atta, whose ministry lured innocent citizens to invest in Men's Gold, to turn around and insult the grieving customers as greedy people. We would like to inform Ken Ofori-Atta that is by far the greediest political figure in Ghana today. He has no moral authority, no moral high ground to label any citizen of Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana as greedy. Ladies and gentlemen, if greed was ever a human being, his name would be Ken Ofori-Atta. Liquidation processes, I repeat, having been commenced against Men's Gold, despite the state being fully clothed with the power and authority under the law to do so. If this does not smack of sheer dereliction of duty and complicity on the part of government, then what else is it? Of course, we are fully aware, ladies and gentlemen, I need your attention, of some secret payments made to government appointees and their cronies who equally invested in Men's Gold by top management members of the company. This has been going on the blind side of the innocent customers of Men's Gold for some time now. And this fact is strongly corroborated by senior staff members of Men's Gold in a recent press statement. Once again, these secret payments speak loudly about a government that cares only about its family and friends and care less about the ordinary Ghanaian.
And that's Sami Jainfi, the NDC Director of Communications. And that was a press conference done by the NDC at its headquarters just a couple of hours back, which we covered live. It was paid for. And so we did cover. In fact, there is the press conference that I told you about that the NPP, the governing NPP, had also called, which I understand it just got underway at the NPP headquarters. That is designed to react to the accusations you just heard there. The NPP, they've also paid for us to cover that live. And so what you're going to listen to is a paid for coverage of the NPP press conference. Let's go live to the NPP headquarters and listen to the NPP's own Director of Communications, Yababia Samwa.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Lying back together on the same bed. Right. So, can I competently conclude on the logic of the NDC that your mama is gay? Needless to say, number one is a matter of public record. He has visited several eminent persons in this country. Anybody who cares to know knows that he has visited several serious people in this country as a responsible political party supporting a very focused government. We will not stoop so low as to suggest that public officers, religious leaders, traditional leaders, and others who by virtue of their office are public property deserve to be abused for dirty political ends. And the NDC is advised that the people of Ghana are wise to their political ideals and will not accept abuse as a form of political communication. The second leg of the NDC's empty propaganda is that some force ought to have applied, which was not. Some force ought to have been applied, which was not, or either it wasn't applied timeously enough or it's being applied too late. In making that argument, the NDC's communications officer, endorsed by the entire leadership of the NDC, confused the state, the government, regulatory agencies, security agencies, and the presidency all in one, in their haste to create problems where there are none. The NPP government is committed to a state of law. And in that state of law, there are clear distinctions between the powers of the state, the powers of the government, and the powers of the president, as well as the powers of regulatory agencies and security agencies. For public clarity, it is on record that in 2012, a docket was allegedly built by the Ghana Police Service saying that 53 people had been defrauded by NAM1. Then it was a security matter, wasn't it? Was it the matter of the government? Was it the matter of the president? Was it the matter of the regulatory agencies? Ultimately, the police treated it as a criminal matter and sought to deal with it. We would ask media houses to ask the police to trace the genesis of that matter. Hopefully, it ought not to be the President of the Republic who traces police dockets according to the logic of the NDC. So, it is obvious that the Shenanigans and alleged fraudulent operations of NAM1 and his accomplices started way back in 2013 under the name Men's Bank with a K, and then later on changed to Men's Bank with a C. For the information of the NDC and its clueless leadership, they were in power as the government, the agent of the state, at the time that NAM1 established Men's Bank with a K and later on changed it to one with a C. The NDC government was in power. And there was a regulatory agency, a licensing agency, which registered that company. Was it the president who did that registration? So, if so, by their twisted logic, confusing the state, regulatory agencies, the government, security agencies, the presidency and everything, then why didn't they exercise? Why didn't the president stop NAM1 once and for all at that time? Why didn't they use the force at their disposal? Why didn't they use the force at their command at that time? When he switched from Men's Bank with a K to Men's Bank with a C, did they realize what he was up to? Did they accept that what he was up to was good enough for them? What has changed between now and then? Why did they not do what they were supposed to do? Or they refused to exercise government power under the authority of the state to deal with NAM1 because the NDC stood to benefit. Well, we are aware that the communications director, listen to him.
By pressing the panic button.
Listen to him.
It is our letter about the chain. Because you see, let's go for my come over for Ghana, more than my market. Only chap to my mind. I don't want to follow me. I'm going to trouble. Never do my crowd and do not live over the other. What should the Bible shares out the given to be mine? And the one bet 19 is a big number of piano. As I think that I'm going to see your policy. Say, Nana, we're doing no. I'm going to follow and you know. Only when you're not to say, Babu was it, yet they do not go quite on the south by a look. And a one cousin go for you. Then you have private people who will try to do something to help this country, to create employment. When we create employment, so we contribute to nation building, say, what it means. And then one. So you put what Mama interpreting here now because we have no anyway. So we see extending is a bit far-fetched. Are there any millions commission? The man force one, extending now, blah blah blah. You can say, sec, make it come. That's we have a sample. There wasn't even say that I have not been understanding of the business. I have not been understanding of even the state, a new development. I say, and then on Bagana, so it means that this is even something which has just okay to say. The responsible government, the other say, the same thing from your country was a really regularize this aspect of your only license. Now there also be that's exactly what I do because beyond letter and
So this is a live coverage of an MPP press conference underway at the MPP headquarters to react to an earlier press conference by the NDC, all surrounding this Men's Gold saga. What you're hearing now is a sound clip being played of the NDC's communications officer speaking on our sister station at Sempa FM some time back. The NPP's position on this, and the reason why they are playing this, as they've explained, is that he then... Okay, listen to the communication director.
Now, man, for Jintia, that is what they're doing. It is unletable when we care about the team. Because you see, let's go for the when they unletable when we care about the team. Because you see, let's go for the when we come over from Ghana, more than my
well, so you've heard them. When they are comfortable, they say one thing. And today, this is the twisted logic of the man who spoke saying that government didn't act. When government acted, when Men's Gold was warned, this man sat in a radio studio which has international audience and traduced government. So it's a very good business. They were creating employment. They were creating profits for people. They were doing very well. Government was using the law in a way that was far-fetched. Far-fetched. Government should not have used the law. He didn't talk about state. He didn't talk about president. He didn't talk about regulatory agencies. He was busy heaping praise on Men's Gold and #1. And then he turned around to say that what Men's Gold had done, our government had not been able to do. Is that true? And this is the man who led the useless vacuous onslaught today. This is the man behind whom the leadership of a hopeful opposition who wants to come back into power are arranged, telling Ghana to believe in them as an alternative. This is the man who would purport to tell all of Ghanaians what to do. This is the man. Fantastic. So we need to have a bit of history here. And I want you to all be very, very clear in your minds. After the incidents of 2012, 2013 and otherwise, you fast forward to 2014, in October to be precise. The Bank of Ghana itself, not under the leadership of the MPP government. The Bank of Ghana is independent. Then it was under the leadership of an NDC government. Bank of Ghana is a state institution. It cannot be dictated to by the government. Do we get that clear? The Bank of Ghana is a state institution. It does not receive instructions from the government of Ghana, which is also part of the state. Now, the Bank of Ghana then, in 2014, discovered as a regulator on a special exercise in Central Region that #1 was running an operation there, purporting to do financial transactions with gold, some amount of deposit taking, and calling itself a bank. The name had bank in it, as you call. On March 11, 2015, still in the era of Sami Jemfi, I think then he was a student trying to learn law. Now I don't know about his law, but the Bank of Ghana issued a directive, and I will give you the reference number. The directive reference number is BG/GOV/SEC/2015-04, publishing a list of unlicensed entities operating illegally, including Men's Bank. Men's Bank, as I have told you, then changed its name to Men's Bank Ghana Company Limited. On April 13th, 2016, the Bank of Ghana again issued a notice to warn the general public. This is the painful part. The Bank of Ghana issued a notice to warn the general public against the deposit-taking operations of Men's Bank. And on 22nd July 2016, Bank of Ghana again wrote to Men's Bank, cautioning it against taking deposits as an unlicensed activity. Then, Sami Jemfi's NDC government, led so incompetently by then President John Mahama, didn't realize that they had a force they could have used to stop Men's Bank. They didn't realize it. They didn't realize they were a government within the state. They didn't realize that there were regulatory agencies. They didn't realize that they had security agencies, and they didn't realize that it was the duty of John Mahama to deal with Men's Bank personally as president, which is what Sammy Gyamfi would have us believe now. On August 2nd, 2016, Bank of Ghana invited the management of Men's Bank and engaged them on their licensed deposit-taking activity. They responded in writing on August 3rd and claimed that they were not taking deposits. And this is when they somersaulted again and went to create another company called Brew Marketing Consult. You've heard that one too? Yes. So what they did was that they changed the modus round and said Brew Marketing Consult was now going to take money, and then you buy gold through Marketing Consult and they will keep the money for you. This was under the watch of the NDC government, which was using the power of the state as a government, couldn't propel the security agencies in the direction that today they want us to go. They didn't have any bite in their time. Now, obviously, with this kind of record, you will lose power, which they did. They were given a thorough political whipping. An incumbent, an African government incumbent, which lost election by over 1 million votes. 50 plus 1 before then had been very tight. This one we saw a 53 and a way down 44, which I hear is still dropping. It's still dropping. So they lost power. In February 2017, under a serious government, another meeting was held with the company. On July 19th, the Bank of Ghana issued another letter to them asking them to desist from taking deposits. Then they quickly changed their name to Men's Gold. That is where the so-called gold collectibles operation started. Now, as a serious regulator, listen to what the Bank of Ghana did. As a serious regulator now, in an era where we are fostering rule of law, in an era where the presidency is committed to the rule of law, in an era where no wrongdoers will be shielded, in this era, the Bank of Ghana, as a serious regulator, took steps and undertook what it called mystery shopping. And it's so important that I'll read it out. The Bank of Ghana sent somebody anonymously to there. The first time they went attempting to buy gold, they didn't see any gold throughout the transaction. Men's Gold collected the cash with the explanation that they will purchase the gold from Brew Consult. In the second case of mystery shopping, the mystery shoppers were given a piece of gold. In the third purchase, the mystery shoppers were directed to purchase the gold from Brew Marketing and deposit the gold in the vault of Men's Gold for it to trade with the gold. On 19th September 2017, Minerals Commission wrote a letter to Men's Gold titled Unauthorized Business Activities, pointing out to Men's Gold that it was in breach of the law and that the license that Brew Marketing had not been registered as a licensed buying agent. What it meant was that Brew Marketing and Men's Gold had been licensed by Minerals Commission to buy gold locally from the small scale sector and export. They were not licensed to trade in gold on a local secondary market. They didn't have that legal right. In June 2018, the Bank of Ghana conducted a joint visit with Minerals Commission to license gold traders and refineries in Accra to understand the nature of their operations better. The team established that all the companies were engaged in smelting and exporting gold with the exception of Men's Gold, which was engaged in the solicitation of deposits from the general public with interest rates between 7 to 10% a month to customers based on the quantity of gold purchased.